Croatian folk tales are deeply woven into the land and its history. Every place, river, and mountain is marked by folk tales and folklore. From the Celtic people who named these parts, to the Slavs who, having assimilated the indigenous ancient Roman population, created a unique mythic world of oral cultural heritage. All have left their mark. Dragons, werewolves, wargs, basilisks, mares, the unseen, Yagers, will-o'-the-wisps, hartsmen, elven men, houndgobs. These are only a handful of the multitude of mythic creatures that have lived in these lands alongside our ancestors. The birthright of humans was a place beneath the sun, while our elvish brethren claimed a place beneath the moon. At twilight and dawn, these worlds overlapped, and then humans were able to see what was normally hidden, obscured by the darkness of night and the brightness of day. Our elders, who still remembered the ancient times, divided the world into that which is above and that which is below, underneath the earth. The heavens were ruled by the sky god Perun, the just deity of firmament and lightning. His world was called Prav. And the underworld belonged to a hidden god, Veles, the lord of waters and the world of the dead. This netherworld was called Virai. Veles was the ruler of all its treasures, material in the shape of gold and cattle, and immaterial in the form of all knowledge, skills, and wisdom. The two opposing worlds were linked by the great world tree, its roots reaching far down underground, and its crown stretching right up to the top of heaven. This tree is often described as a great oak, whose trunk is the world axis, around which revolve the entirety of heaven, together with the stars and the sun, the ancient deity Mokosh. Mokosh was the great mother of all things living. Each year, together with the migrating birds, Mokosh spends 6 months in the underground kingdom Virai. There she replenishes her light. In the next 6 months, she ascends the heavens, all the way to the tip of the world tree, where she reigns with the sky god Perun and brings summer to earth. The earth world, where humans and animals live, was named Yav. Side by side they live and grow, with all that sprouts and stretches up towards the sun in this wondrous dance of seasons that follow the steps of the celestial rulers. Once, not so long ago, when our legs were shorter and eyes wider, our ears could see the symphonies of birds' voices and the whispering woods. In the balmy summer night, beneath the clear starlit skies, we would gather with friends beneath the large oak tree. Dark skies and soft nightly sighs would entice the wind to fly through the yard and rustle into the trees above our heads. And grandmother, who used to sit with us, would catch an earful of its whispers. She understood its words and began telling its tales. In bygone times, when people knew the language of the rustling wind and stars, The night knew no other lights but that of candles and the vast moon. Every whisper that carried on the breeze out of the night had meaning. Eyes could see images that nowadays remain hidden behind the thick curtain of the city lights, and ears hear whispers lost among the street noises whose racket make the streets deaf to their own sounds. So it was that when grandmothers and grandfathers were still able to tell tales about the wisdom and secrets of the world, the wind would visit often, bringing the cries of the forests and the trees that were beyond the reach of the untrained ears. It would reach the ears that could understand it, and the wind told its tales. A Tale of the Wind. One morning, a woman was kneading the dough for her bread. When the dough had risen, she went to light the bread oven. But every time she started the fire, the wind would quell the flames. She was patient and tried many times, but on each occasion the wind would turn the flames into smoke. The wind would dip and dive like a wild bird, catch fire and fly up the chimney carrying its prey. The woman grew angry and was about to curse the wind in her wrath. But she suddenly saw a sight that froze the blood in her veins. At her kitchen table, where she sat all alone until that moment, were 4 strangers. 4 tall men, one at each corner of the table. They looked directly at her with dark, piercing eyes. All 4 had bushy beards, and their heads were covered in long, wild hair strewn with weeds, branches, dried leaves, and all manner of drift. There they stood, barefoot, just like the wise men, clad in ragged robes that hung about them in tatters. They were more wrapped in rags than wearing clothes. The 4 creatures then sat at the table, as if they were about to eat. The frightened woman reached for the bread dough, not knowing how to entertain or please them. And so she blessed the raw dough and placed it on the table before the strangers. The 4 beings then parted the dough between them and began to eat it, as if it were baked bread. When they had finished eating, they disappeared without a sound, the same way they had arrived. And the woman was left standing alone. Later her mother told her, "See, the wind must never be cursed or chided. It blows and it heaves through brambles and rocks, hungry and barefoot, beneath the sun and across the ice. Not even God knows where it comes from, nor where it wants to go. Therefore, honor the wind always, and let it be like your guest." This story passed down from generation to generation, and it was told to me by my grandmothers. About the shadows of the wind. The stories and illustrations in The Tales of the Wind, Moon Shadows and Morgoths were gathered in the course of the last decade and are the product of many hours of listening, writing and studying, as well as creating and collecting objects, costumes and puppets, taking photographs and making drawings. The legends and places the author describes derive from his intimate recollections and the family lore he inherited from his grandmothers. They are connected with the area in which he grew up and places he got to know while searching for the roots of these tales. Many of these locations are now lost or vanished, covered in the concrete of the modern world. Just as the last storytellers who remembered these tales are dying out. Like the elves of ancient legend departing the world, these stories are vanishing into oblivion, along with the members of the older generations. The stories lose their meaning when they can no longer be understood in the light of our everyday world. Still, they speak powerfully of the relationship between humans and nature, and are brimming with wisdom that arises from the collective identity of these older generations. Through stories,